Hello and welcome. Today, I actually want to go through the Oakville numbers for November 2025. And I actually want to go through detached semi condo in town because even though you'll see average price is X amount, it that doesn't really matter if you're trying to buy a freehold townhouse. And also the detached, that's also a $1.8 million average. That also doesn't matter if you're trying to buy a $5 million luxury property or a 1.2 detached. So I actually want to pinpoint what's being sold and for how much. But first, let's just go into the overall and what has sold. Let's start with the big picture here. In November, there were 224 total sales, and that's across all types of properties. The average was 1.4 million, well, just under was 1.39. Obviously, it's not cheap, but it's obviously not peak pandemic levels either. The median price point is 1.19, and that kind of gives us a better sense about what people are actually paying. So if you're house hunting in and around the 1.2 range, you're in the game and you can probably get something pretty sweet in Oakville. Obviously not, a glamorous detached in Glen Abbey or in Morrison, but you can get something great. There were 424 new listings in Oakville, but actually there were currently 1,000 active listings. To be exact, 1,044. So there is still a lot of inventory. There's lots for buyers to negotiate with. And the average days on market is 38 days. So it's still taking some time to sell some property. It's not a sprint, but it's not a winter crawl either. And don't expect your home to sell within 24 hours, okay? Now, this is where I actually want to take you to my computer so I can actually run through the examples of what is selling and for how much. Okay, so let's head over. First things first, this is the numbers for November 2025. Obviously, I just went through all of them. There's 224 sales, 118 detached, only 4 semis, which is really low. Condo townhouses are 16, condos themselves only 37, and this attached row townhouse, that's the freehold townhouse, there were 48. So again, these are the average prices. So for a detached, the average price is 1.8. You could probably get something decent in Glen Abbey, even Joshua Creek for 1.8. You're probably not going to get a really nice custom build South Bronte or, in Morrison, but you can get something really good in Palermo, Westmount, West Oak Trails, Glen Abbey, River Oaks. You can get something really nice there which is like family oriented. And quickly, I kind of want to take you through what's been happening in 2025. So first, we're actually going to start with sales. Sales look like they're down throughout from last year and the peak. They are really down. I want to erase August from everybody's memory because there's not that much going on in August. There was literally 79 sales. Everyone's enjoying their summer. No one cares about August. But for all you buyers out there, that means it's a great time to buy because you have less competition. Okay. Also, the price per property was down across the board in August because there was such low sales. Like for a detached, yes, you can get something for 1.1, 1.2. It's going to be smaller. So let's just erase this from our memories because the average price point is anywhere around 1.8, 1.9 for a detached. For a semi, we've been hovering in between 1.1 to 1.2 for a good semi in Oakville. But just looking at charts, it gives you an idea of where the market is fluctuating, okay? Moving on to townhouses, again, same thing. We've been hovering in and around the 1,050,000 mark to, 1.2 in March was the average. So be prepared to spend at least 1.1 for a really good townhouse. But I'm going to show you a few that are freehold less than $1 million because they are out there, okay? And condos, we all know condos are an absolute shit show right now. You can get a really good condo if you're an end user. If you're an investor and you came to me and said, Alex, I want to invest in a condo, I would steer you clear of buying a condo unless you're buying it for like 400,000 and it cash flows positive. Condos are not cash flow positive right now. Okay, now let's go to our MLS, our beautiful MLS. We're going to clear this. Okay, we're going to go unavailable. I'm going to take you through what we look at. Let's start with detached. Okay, more filters. We're going to do sold. And then we're going to do sold date in November to November 31st. Done. And then location. So obviously Halton, Obviously, Oakville. I'm just going to remove Halton so we can just go straight into Oakville. Now, for a detached, let's say your price point is max 1.4. About 43 of them that sold for 1.4 that was detached. You can get anywhere from like a little small bungalow, which this is probably going to get torn down to a custom build, or high. Let's start off high. You can get something great in Palermo, okay? Madden, this is like right around the corner from where I live. It's such a great neighborhood in River Oaks. But let's just take a look at this, okay? 1.355. It is going to be compartmentalized, okay? It does have a finished basement, which is nice, and a little home theater, and a backyard. Let's see what it actually sold for. Now we're going to dig a little deeper. It was listed at 1.375, sold for 1.35. What I like to look at when I'm helping buyers look for properties, just because that was listed once doesn't mean that that's the first time it was listed. So they were actually trying to sell for 1.4 and ended up selling for that price, okay? So bottom line is, if you have a budget under 1.5, remember, you can also put minimum amount down if you qualify, so you're not having to put the 20% down, and you could get something decent, okay? Now, let's say you're more of a luxury buyer, and I'm gonna put exit unlimited, and you want more of like the custom feel and like a large executive homes. 100% you're looking South Oakville, okay? You're looking at the custom builds in Bronte. You're looking in Old Oakville, in Ford, right here. Where's this? Morrison, 3.7. Let's see what it was listed for. The luxury market, you can get a really good deal right now, 3.9. See if that was the original purchase or list price. Nope. They've been trying to sell for a long time. Whoa, they were listed at like 5 million back in January. Oh, even more than that. They've been trying to sell for so long. Wow, this buyer got a really good deal. Good for you. They bought for 3.7. They were trying to sell for over 5 million. Good Lord. Okay. End of story. If you're looking for luxury, you can get a really good deal. Now, let's take a look and see what's been selling for attached row townhouse. Oh my God, there was a townhouse. Oh yeah, this one, downtown Oakville. Price point. Let's say you're looking for a freehold townhouse and you literally only have $1 million budget. There are freehold townhouses selling under $1 million in Oakville, and that is the truth. Look at what's selling right now. 970, 888. Oh, I actually looked at this property. I'm just saying, if you have $1 million budget and you want to move to Oakville, come on over, because there are freehold townhouses for sale. What else? River Oaks. This one sold for $900,000. This one was nicely recently renovated. Okay. Bottom line, there's lots available. Okay, I could go through this for hours with you guys. So if you want to have a look at what's sold, I'm sure you can look on certain platforms and look at sold data, and what's out there. But for the semis, I was looking at this because it did say there were only 4, but obviously it wasn't updated. I believe 5 semis sold now. If we go unlimited, 7. So some have updated since that was posted. So there were 7 semis that posted. Let's move this over. Most expensive one, 1.17. Yeah, if you're looking for a semi, at least spend 1.1, unless you're going to get a bungalow semi. So all that being said, that's what's going on in Oakville, November 2025. There wasn't that many sales, but there are good deals to be had. Bottom line, if you were a buyer, December and the first few weeks of January are probably the best time to buy, and August, because you have less competition. The listings that are on the market, they are motivated because they're staying listed during the Christmas season. And you just can get the pick of the litter. Take as much time as you want, put conditions in, but also be realistic about what has sold in the area. Look at the comps and compare apples to apples. Now, if you're a seller and you are looking to sell in the new year, my words of advice would be price accurately. Look at what has sold in the last 90 days in your area. Again, compare apples to apples, and be realistic about your price, or you're going to sit on the market. Also, make sure you're staged well and you're marketed professionally. Don't let your uncle take photos of us with his cell phone and post it online, because you will sit there for a long time. And if you are in the luxury market and you're looking at buying, you can get a fantastic deal. We just went through an option right now that was trying to sell from last year above 5 million, and they ended up selling for 3.7. So if you're in the luxury area, you can get a really good deal. Anyways, I will be back in January with your December update so I can show you what has sold for December. But until then, if you have questions about Oakville real estate, whether you're a buyer or a seller, click the link below and book in my calendar, and we can have a chat about your needs and your wants moving into 2026. Merry Christmas, everyone, and I hope everyone has a very safe, happy New Year.